Hello guys, my name is Khan and today we will discuss about Tableau. Actually, this is the second set of videos about Tableau. We have already covered some basics about Tableau, that how you can create basic dashboards in Tableau, how you can connect different databases with Tableau in our first set of videos. And in this set of videos, we'll try to cover a bit advanced things in Tableau. So for this video, I will be using this US Census dataset, and in this video, I will try to cover that, especially if you guys are if you know how to use Excel and if you have used pivot functionality of Excel, then how easy it is to use Tableau, because there is a very good similarities between Excel pivot functions and the Tableau. So I will try to give some examples both in Excel and Tableau to show you guys that how you can use your knowledge of Excel in Tableau too, very much in the same fashion. So I will be using actually this dataset I will be importing into Tableau. So I will copy this Ctrl C and then Ctrl V. So actually I will be using this copy data set for creating pivot tables and graphs, and then I will import this data set, which is the same as this data set in Tableau. So let's open the copied data set. So I will be using US Census data set. Actually, this is a hypothetical data set, have nothing to do with reality. So I have inserted a one sheet and I am selecting the cell A1. So now if I go to insert, you can see that there is a functionality pivot table. If I click it, so here it's saying that select the table range or select the data on which you want to create a table. So I will click this arrow button, then I will go back to sheet 1. I will select all the columns from A to N, and then I will say okay, and then I want that my table appear on the location sheet 2 A1. Everything is fine. I will say okay. So now you can see here I have the fields. Under the fields I have different variable. So suppose if I want to create a table, so suppose because in my dataset, if I go to my dataset, you can see that I have a variable region which is dividing the US states into 4 regions, and then I have also a variable population which is showing me that how much population each state have. But suppose if I want to create a table that tell me that how much is the population in each region, not in each state, in each region. So how can I do that? So I will go and click this region. By default, it's showing me it here in the rows, and you can see it here that I have north, central, northeast, south, and west region. But I want that it tell me that how much population these states, these regions have. So if I go, so this pop is variable is actually the capturing the population. So if I select this variable population, here you can see under the values it's saying sum of population. So under now if we look at the table, it's showing me that under the north central we have this population, northeast have this population, south have this, and west have this. So now suppose if you want to do the same thing in Power BI, how we can do this thing, and when we will do it in Power BI, you will realize that these pivot table or pivot chart functionality is very similar in in Tableau too. So I will go to my main screen. So this is the shortcut to Tableau for me. I will double click it. So again, if you guys are new user to Tableau, Tableau is a business intelligence tool, and it allows you to make reports, dashboards very easily, and can and allows you to share your dashboard with your audience. Like other data visualization tool, Tableau also works in 3 steps. First thing is that you have to import the data into Tableau. Then the second step is that you create your visuals. And in the third step, you share your dashboard or visuals with your audience. So the first step we will do here is that my data is in Excel. So I will say Microsoft Excel. I have created a folder for this video. And then I will be using this data. I will be saying open. So this is the data that we imported. Everything looks fine. So if I go to sheet 1, under the sheet 1 we have some columns and rows option. And suppose if I want to do the same table that I have done in Excel here. So what I will do, I will go to Tableau. I will look for my region variable. So again in Tableau, it automatically divides into 2 categories, dimension and measure. So all the categorical variable, the string variable or date variable or geographical variable will come under the dimension, whereas all the numeric variable, integers, floating will come under the measures. So what I will do, I will select the region variable and I will drag it to my rows. And what I will do next is that my population variable, which is under the measure, I will select it and I will drag it into the rows. So now you can see there is that automatically what Tableau have done is that it's showing me that sum of population. So if I just minimize it to show you, so now we have the graph. But suppose if I want not a graph, if I want a table, so there is a table option too. So now if I go back to Excel, you can see these numbers which are stated here are the same as the number we have here. So in this way, you can easily create a pivot table in Tableau too. But let's see, suppose in Excel, if you want to create a chart too over your pivot table, it's very simple. Select any cell over your table, over your pivot table, and then go to insert, and then we will say insert graph. So you can see that we have this graph now, which is based on this pivot table. And if I go to, so suppose if I want to do the same thing, that I want to have a graph instead of a table here, you can see that there is on this sheet there's different things that I can opt. So if I select this graph, bar graph, you can see that I have a graph here now. And the other thing is that suppose if you want to label these bars, you can easily do this. So suppose if I select this one bar, and if I say Ctrl A, it has selected all of my bars in the graph. And then if I right click it, there is an option mark label, and I will say always show. So you can see that now my Tableau is also labeled those bars, that what's the height of that bar. So this is one thing. So now what I will do, I will add another sheet and I will create a new graph. So first I will go back to Excel. I will also insert a new sheet here. So in my previous pivot table, we have sum of population. But suppose if I don't want the sum of population, maybe I want average of population. How can I do this? So I will create another pivot table in sheet 3. I'm creating a pivot table in a separate sheet just to make things so that you're able to see things more clearly. So I will go back to insert again, and I will go to pivot tables. I will select my data. My data is again sheet 1. Just like before, I will select all the columns from A to N. I will do this, and then everything's fine. My pivot table will be created into sheet 3A1. Okay. So now what I will do, I will go to my region. That will automatically went into rows. Then the second thing is population. So I will go to population. But again, by default, it has selected sum of population. I don't want sum of population. I want average of population. So what I will do, I will select this down arrow and under the down arrow there is an option value field settings. So I will select that, and here there is an option summarize value by, I want it by average, and I will say OK. So now you can see that my table got updated based on the average of population. And how you can do that thing in Tableau, I will show you guys. So now I'm in sheet 2. What I will do, I will drag my region variable to rows, and the second thing I will need is the population. I will drag it to columns. Again, I want to show you as a table, so I will select it as a table. So here if I come, it's showing me the sum of population. That's if there is a down arrow here again, I will click the down arrow, and under the measures it's showing me the sum, but I don't want it sum, I want the average. So if I go to this arrow, there is an option average. If I select that, now you can see that it's average of population by region, and you can easily compare your results in this sheet with this sheet, which is about the same. Actually in Tableau they have rounded the number, but here I think it's better to round it the number. So here, this is the way you can create a pivot table with the average numbers in Tableau. And again, you can also convert it to a graph if you want, and you can label those bar again by selecting one bar, Ctrl A, and then right click it, then mark label always show. So now it's showing all the labels of those bars, and again the x-axis also got updated that it's average population. Now we'll take you guys to, again in the Excel, if you want average graph based on the average, you will just select a cell within this pivot table, go to insert, select the bar table, and you will see that this is the graph that Excel have created for you. Again, it's based on the average of population. And now the third thing is that I will try to cover in this video is that suppose you don't want even the you don't want sum of population or average of population. Actually, you want that how many observations or how many states come into North Central, how you can do that. So in order to do that, I will create another sheet, and again I will create an insert table. I'm creating each pivot table in a separate sheet just to keep things clear for you guys. You can insert as many as pivot tables within one sheet, there is no issue. But for this video, I'm creating inserting a new pivot table into a separate sheet so that you get able to see things more clearly. I will go to insert, and then my thing is pivot table, and then I will select the data first. My data is in sheet 1. I will select all the data columns, enter. My pivot table will get created in sheet 4, A1. It's fine. I will first select the region, then the population. Here by default is sum of population. I don't want sum of population. I want to see how count the states which are under North Central. So the easy way is that you select this value field settings, and under the value field setting just simply select count. So you can see under the North Central we have 12 states, Northeast 9, South 16, West 13. And let's go to Tableau to see how we can do that in Tableau. I will create a second, inserting a sheet 3, and I will create my region in rows and population. For actually, when you want to see the count by region, there is no need to specifically select sum of population variable. You can select any other observation too, it will give you the same count, but I am here selecting population. So what I will come here, and I will go to measures, and here there is an option count. So now we have a count. Again, if I want to see that a table, I have a table, numbers appeared here are the same as the number we have here, so everything looks fine. So And in the end of the video, I will cover one more thing, that how you can use standard deviation in your pivot tables or in your pivot graphs. That the concept is very much same. I will create a new sheet, and under the new sheet I will go to insert. Actually, I'm trying to cover as many as functionalities so that it will be easier for you guys when you will be working. Insert pivot table, and again I will select the data first. I will go to sheet 1, select column A to N, and then I will again my pivot table will be in sheet 5A1, new sheet, again this time. So I will select region, then I will select population. So now this time I don't want a sum of population, I want what's the standard deviation of population within these states. How can I do that? So I will come back to again under my values section. I will click this down arrow, and then I will select value field setting. And then if you look at summarize value by, not by sum, I want it by standard deviation. So you can see that there is an option standard deviation here. But before standard deviation here, there are many important functions options available: maximum, minimum, product, count numbers, standard deviation, variance. So you can use all of these functionalities when you are working in pivot tables, and the same functionalities are also available in Tableau too. So actually I will be selecting standard deviation, so I will select this option. So now you can see standard deviation of population. I will say okay, and now my table got updated according to the standard deviation. And now in this table we have standard deviation of population under the given region. So again I will go to my Tableau now. I will insert a new sheet, and now this time again I will select region, and then I will be using population variable again. Columns, I want it to appear in a table form, and here instead of sum of population I will come here, I will come to measures, and here instead of measure I will be using, as you can see that other than standard deviation we have percentile option, we have maximum, we have minimum, we have count, median, average. You can use all of these measure options in Tableau too, just like in Excel. So I will be using standard deviation of population. So now my numbers got updated. You can double check with Excel too. The numbers are same as which we have in Excel. So in this video I have tried to cover that if you already have some basic knowledge of pivot tables in Excel, then you can apply that knowledge of pivot tables in Tableau too. Even if you don't have any knowledge of pivot tables in Excel, you can, after watching this video, you can easily create different tables or graph based on different statistics like count, standard deviation, mean, median, mode, and much more. Thank you for watching the video.